Welcome back, everybody. So in my last haul video, you may remember, I found this Sleepy Hollow book at the Goodwill for $1.51, and it has inspired me to turn my favorite Halloween story, which happens to be the Headless Horseman, into my living room decor this year. So one of the things I always like to do when I'm decorating for Halloween is change out the artwork in my house for something Halloween related. And it can't be easier than just taking a nice picture book like this and changing out some frames. So I'm going to basically cut up this book once we find some appropriate pictures and make some art. So I took some, basically three different types of frames because I've got a few different areas that I want to put this artwork in. Now normally I would take some sort of existing frame like I have here, me and my dog Noodle. I have three of these frames in one of the hallways that's visible from my living room, so I'm going to just take out the art inside, put my Halloween art for the season, and then once the season's over, just swap them back out at the end. And usually I've done things like clowns and snakes, depending on whatever sort of theme I'm working on, and I'll just keep that artwork in the back of the frame, so when Halloween time comes around, it's all ready to go. Just swap it, and it keeps it quick and easy, which is what I'm all about. I've also made in the past from these Dollar Tree frames just some artwork that I've printed out online. This one says "Something Wicked This Way Comes," and this was just some sort of Halloween design that someone had made. So I take these, print them out, put them in Dollar Tree frames, and just sort of stick them out on tables or in corners or so forth. So I've got a few of these I might try and replace, and primarily I have some artwork going up my stairway that I want to kind of actually tell the story of the Headless Horseman, or Ichabod Crane, the Sleepy Hollow story, I guess. And looking through this book, I found a few particular images that I wanted to frame, and unfortunately they're a little awkward because they span the center of the book, but when I measure them, they measure about 10.5 inches. So that's a little unfortunate. I mean, it's okay for my purposes, but I can't use a 8 by 10 frame, so I had to go and get document frames, and I happen to have already had these that I've just had in my closet for probably 10 years from a project I never did. So I'm excited to finally reuse these documents that are the 8.5 by 11 size, because it's a document frame. And I think it'll work nicely to frame this awkward size picture. And then I've got some additional artwork. Basically, so I want the stairway to tell the story. And then I want kind of just a little intro, kind of like when you're walking in to my house, I want it to be like a movie. So you'll have your title card here, and then the pictures and everything will tell the story. So I'm actually going to cut out this title page, maybe put it in one of these small frames and have it sitting on the entrance table, maybe with another little picture as well. And then whatever, I can use some of these awkward pictures. See, these pictures are bad because they've got text that runs around them. It's kind of going to be hard to frame, but this particular picture with this scary looking man might be good for the filler in the hallway, just so it's all cohesive to tell the story. Of course, you have to be extra careful because you don't want the image that you're going to want to use backing up to another image that you plan to cut out. So the first thing we got to do is pick out which images we want to tell the main story going up the stairs, and then we'll use everything else to kind of fill in with the rest of the frames that I want to put around. All right, so like I said, definitely I want to use the title page. I really like this piece of art here, but it backs up to this image, which I was considering as just kind of like the first image as an intro, but I think I might not use it. So I might actually end up being able to use this great piece of art as well. But let's see, no, I like this one. I think that's very dark and eerie, so that's definitely going to be a yes. That might be the first image. So it's got Ichabod Crane kind of looking in the scary woods. No, I don't want this picture. And can't use this because it doesn't have the outline that all these other pictures have. This one could have been a contender, but I think we can find something a little more atmospheric than that. Like this guy. He might go in one of the smaller side hallway frames. I like this one as well, but the problem I think is that I like this one better. So obviously you can't have two of the same image. I think we're gonna go with this one because it is the horse chase with the Headless Horseman. So that's the second image, I think. So we had Ichabod looking in the woods. Then I don't like the fact that now he's suddenly on a horse getting chased, but you know, you can't have everything perfect. And then I like this one because it's the it's him getting thrown off his horse, I guess, by the Headless Horseman throwing the jack-o'-lantern. I just love the imagery of this and his face that just looks terrified and very scary. And then I like the pumpkin that's all smashed on the bridge. So I think that's going to be number 4. All right, with our images picked out, now is the time to start destroying this book. So I brought a few tools with me, little razor blade, which I think I'm going to start with. I know it's going to be very hard for you to see, but the good thing is these are pretty thick pieces of paper, so I'm not too worried about it tearing. But where the pages are glued to the book, I'm just going to try and see if we can cut that open. I have to be pretty careful, again, because the seams of those pictures that I want to keep, you know, it spans multiple pages. So I'm just going to try and make sure whatever I'm cutting isn't going to cut that seam. Go ahead and cut this side as well. All right, we have liberated the pages from the cover of the book. And the first thing I want to do is kind of find out where the pages are bound together. So these I think have got, you know, a bit of glue on the end. I'm no professional, don't know how this works, but when you look closely, you can see there's little bits of like elastic. It's really hard to see that, but in the seam here, which holds some of the sheets together, there's that bit of elastic. So let's go ahead and cut that first. Trying to be very careful because this thing's very sharp and I've already put a slice in the image that I wanted to use. So just try and be a little bit more careful. I don't think anyone's going to notice that little bit of rip, except for me. I'll always know it's there now. So with that taken out, oh, look how easy that now pulled out. So there's one image that we wanted to keep. Let's see if any of the others. Now, unfortunately, now we're getting to the point where they're a little on separate bits of paper. All right, so I know here's an image I wanted to keep. Hopefully there's nothing else within all this. Ooh, that was, I like that image, but it's not one that was going to get in the frame because the ones that I'm framing are already have this little border drawn on it. So there's 2 images. All right, I like the pumpkin. It looks like we've already lost half of it. All right, so it's part of this one. So we got to be very careful when we're cutting these out that we're not going to lose the image. Oh no. Well, I didn't pay too close attention. Now I just found that my deflated pumpkin that I really love is part of my other image. So we're going to have to come up with another plan for that, but I could still use this in one of my hallway frames. All right, there's our third image. I like it when they're already together like that. That's going to keep it nice and easy. So now I need my 4th image. You know what? This is actually going to work out pretty well because like I said, I want the story to go up the staircase. Maybe in the back hall, I'm going to use this broken pumpkin as kind of like the final picture. It's like the end of the story. So I think that means we're going to need 2 more pictures. I think I really like this is just kind of like an intro picture, and then the the broken pumpkin at the end is kind of the bookend to the intro setting picture. So we'll start with that, and you know, if we get these up, we decide it doesn't work, it's so easy to change. But if anything, I guess maybe this will make a good practice piece. So with all of my papers here, I want to make sure that nothing happens to these pictures since they're my main images. So I will keep these off on the side. But let's go ahead and cut up this picture to see how it looks. Now, a couple of ways I guess I could do this. My first thought, and I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to cut off just the one page. And to do that, you know, I could use scissors, but so much easier. I have my paper cutter here, so it'll make it nice and easy to line up. I think I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. Beautiful. All right, so there's one half of my picture. Cut it, and now I have my two pieces, but I have lots of excess here. So as you can see, I've got a border on one side. I'm going to want to kind of match that border on the other side before I make that final cut, because you know you should always measure once, measure twice and cut once. We want to make sure that we're cutting it the right size for the frame. I might need a little bit extra or a little bit less, I don't know. Let's go ahead and open up the frame itself. Just pop out the back. Got my piece of plastic and my piece of cardboard. All right, I'm going to just place this image here on the piece of cardboard. It actually has double piece of cardboard, so just so we can see that a little bit easier. Half of it there. I'm going to use the other half here, and I can see on this image, it's already going to be too big. So as long as the top is the same, we'll deal with the side here in a minute. So I'm going to use some gift wrapping tape just because it tends to disappear on paper a little bit easier. I'm gonna throw away the first piece because it's got all the old yuckiness that's been on there forever. And then let's just carefully tape this picture together, starting at the top. Wrap that around. Another piece for the bottom, making sure it's all lined up. And then I'm going to throw a piece down the middle so it stays together. And you can see the seam. No way around it, but you know, I guess it's about as good as we can do, especially for some free artwork. What I'm going to do is take my clear piece now, stick it on top, and this is going to help me decide where we need to trim off the excess paper. Just going to center it on the image itself. So here I can see, and I know you can't, but basically the edges of the actual picture itself is where the frame is going to fall. So let's go ahead and cut that now. So I do have a bit of a border on the top and bottom. Now, unfortunately, I did find a lot of these pictures aren't exact in their sizes. Some of them are a little bit bigger than others. But let's see what happens when we throw it in the frame, because that's what's really going to be telling. All right, it's mostly in the frame, not quite, because I didn't want to make it too difficult to take out, because we do have this white border on the top and the bottom, and I'm going to try and rectify that before we finish. But let's go ahead and see how the other frames look when they're in the frames. There we go, the final picture, a little out of order, but that's all right. I did decide that when I was putting them in the frame and I had to cut two separate images, if you overlap it just a little bit, it kind of gets rid of that really exposed edge, makes it a little bit cleaner of an image. So now that that's done, we need to fix these top and bottom white borders, which I do not like at all. So with our image taken back out of the frame, I take my ruler and measure the top and the bottom gaps, and I see it's about 1/2 inch, perhaps just a hair smaller on the top, but we'll go with the larger of the widths. And I take some black construction paper, using my cutter, just line it up for 1/2 inch, cut it, and then I have strips of black. So I'm just going to put one at the top, one at the bottom, and then one on each side. That's going to give us a little bit of a matte effect. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut them to size. All right, using my gift wrap tape, I'm going to go ahead and tape one of the strips on the top. I'm putting it very close to the edge, knowing that it's going to be hidden by the frame. And there we go, we have a nice little border now. I am counting on the edge of the frame to hide my little bits of tape, so try and keep the tape as close to the corner as possible so that it stays invisible. Let's go ahead, pop it in the frame, and see if that worked. And just as I thought, you can't see any of that tape on the edges. So it kind of looks like a nice professional picture. I can't wait to see what the rest of them look like. All right, here we go. I have all 4 finished with the border. This one I botched. I tried fixing the seam to make it a little less noticeable, and I think I have just succeeded in making it really visible. So that was going to be the first image, followed by Ichabod Crane looking into the woods. I think that one turned out very well. Then him on the horse. Then him on the horse being chased by the horseman. And then him being caught by the horseman. So I'm not sure then if I want to redo this one. I don't think I can fix this. I actually took a little black marker and kind of touched up the edge, thinking it would dull down the white line that was really in the picture. Now I just have this big ugly black line in the picture. So the only other image that I could possibly replace it with would be this. So I've got the guy, Ichabod on his horse, which might make a little bit more sense. So you've got him looking into the woods as the beginning picture, then you have him on the horse, then you have him being chased and caught. So let me know, what do you think I should do? Should I keep it the atmospheric picture, or should I change it to this? I'm really torn about this because I think color-wise it makes sense with the just the landscape kind of bookends the different oranges. But I don't know, that line kind of bothers me. Does it bother you? Do you think it'll be noticeable? We'll take a look at the end of the video. I'll hang it up. We'll get an idea. But let me know in the comments below if you would swap this with the portrait picture instead. Let me know. All right, so we've got the stairway pictures done. Now we're going to work on the hallway pictures. It should be a little bit easier for those. I've gone ahead and picked out a few images that I think would be good. Hallway frames, I just need to pop off the back. You can see some of my previous imagery I've used. I am just going to take off the picture, which is just taped into the back. And then let's go ahead and put one of our new images in. Find the exact positioning that we want to do, and then we will just tape it into place. So I figured I would do 2 horses and my broken pumpkin. So let's see how this horse will look. Oh, love it. So there's one. Again, you can just sort of play around with the image until you get it where you wanted it. I could even instead do it a picture of Braun, but I like the idea of both the horses. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead, and this one's just a bit long, so I'll have to fold it over. And then just take my tape it into place, pop the back on. There's one of them. It was so easy with these frames with the mats in it. It's you can be pretty quick putting these in. Just swapping these out took me just a couple of minutes. And I love the way it looks. It's not scary Halloween, but it's definitely still Halloween, and it tells my story. But just in case somebody doesn't understand the story, we are going to spell it out. So I've decided to do 2 more images with these 2 little frames. So I'm going to do something like that with my Sleepy Hollow, and then maybe just, I thought this would be kind of fun with this, the people looking at the Sleepy Hollow sign. So let's go ahead and start with that one. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and take off the back of this picture frame. And always keep my other artwork in the frame so that we can change it out later. Take my piece of glass, decide where I want. Now this is great because you can move the glass and you're going to be able to see exactly what we're going to see in the frame. So I think I want right there. You can't see that, but I've got a good mix of the people's faces and Ichabod Crane here, so I'm just going to trace around it with my pencil. And with that, I know exactly where I need to cut it out. I'm just going to use my scissors this time. It's easier. Scissors are fine because I know the frame is going to overlap and it's going to hide any little bit of less than perfect edging that I have. Okay. Take my piece of glass, take my backing and my other old artwork, line it all up, put it in place, make sure I have the right side going on. There we go, quick and easy. I love it. The guy's face is super creepy, and then it looks like all those other people are like, what's going on? Well, what's going on? It's the story of the Sleepy Hollow. So let's go ahead and make that our last frame art. There we go. Whoops. Got it a little backwards. We'll do it like that. Sleepy Hollow. It's a little shiny there, but so that is going to go on my entry table. This was such a quick and easy project. It cost me $1.51 for the book. Frames I already had on hand. I mean, you can't get much cheaper than that. And I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of artwork to throw around my living room. It helps tell the story that I'm trying to tell with my living room decor, and couldn't be easier. So that'll do it. Just stay tuned to the end here. I'll show you what they look like on the wall, and stay tuned to Halloween so we can see what it looks like when it's all done. Can't wait to share it with you. Till then, take care, stay safe, and happy haunting.